Coming to you live from the JRE Tobacco Aladino Mobile Studios, it's the Cigar Pulpit.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm the Bishop of the Bird, Nick, and today we are going to be catching up with one of my favorite guests, René Castaneda, the president of Villiger Cigars North America, as we sit down and discuss all things PCA. We're going to talk about all the new products they're unveiling at PCA. We're even going to talk a little bit about PulpitFest and things of that nature. So, sit back, buckle up, fire up a Villiger cigar, and enjoy the interview. And I will catch you guys on the flip side of that. And we are joined by René Castaneda of Villiger Cigars. How you doing, René?
Nick, I'm doing well. I'm just checking on you. Let's start with that. How you feeling, my friend?
Oh, well, thank you. I'm doing a lot better than I did 2 weeks ago. Let's put it that way. I'm feeling infinitely better, and I'm back to smoking cigars. I'm going to have my second cigar since I'm back with you now. So I'm looking forward to this.
I was honored when you told me let's do a show this week. I said, like, he might be feeling better, or he's trying to make me feel good that he's feeling better.
I'm powering through. I'm making it happen. Time stops for no man, and 2 weeks was enough time for me to end up with a whole lot of work to do in before PCA. So I figured I got to get back on the ball. So
now we need to get ready. PCA is like like in 2 weeks, I think. Something like that.
It's less than that. I think. Yes. I think as of the time we're recording this, I think I'd fly out in like 9 days.
Well,
so
yes, you're right. You're right.
So it's rapidly approaching. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. But first, I want to get a cigar going.
Yeah.
So I am smoking the TAA exclusive 2024, Villiger TAA 2024. Now this one, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the one that Maya Selva did for you, correct?
Yes, that's the Honduran Puro.
Okay. It's a 6x52 Toro, and yes, it's the Honduran Puro. So, and then what have you got going on there?
Listen, today I'm just, I'm showing off type of thing. I'm smoking what we're going to present at the show. That is the 1888 Gran Reserva. That is a box pressed 6x54. If my memory is good. We make 10,000 of those cigars. I'll give you more details about the cigar, but the most important thing about this cigar, we aged these cigars a year after they were rolled. So that's our definition, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. Our definition for a Gran Reserva. If you talk to the Habanos people about Gran Reservas, the definition in Habanos for Gran Reservas is cigars that the tobacco that is going to be used is aged on the bales for 5 years. Our definition, and we just decided because we wanted to have our own definition, it's tobacco that we're using is aged in the bales for 2 years, but then the cigars after they're rolled, they're aged for a full year at the factory.
So let them sit. Yeah.
Let's light up this baby.
All right. Well, it's time to cut the cigar, and the official cutting is brought to you by 2guyscigars.com. That's the number 2guyscigars.com. 2 Guys have been around for 40 years, and they are the trusted name in the cigar industry. Everybody knows 2 Guys, but if you don't, please give them a try. You won't be sorry. Family owned and operated, 2guyscigars.com does the very best to provide a great selection, fair prices, and excellent customer service. So head on over to 2guyscigars.com for your next cigar purchase. Tell them that the Cigar Pulpit sent you. And remember, that's the number 2guyscigars.com. With that, it's time to go ahead and cut the cigar. So, PCA. Nice. Oh, go ahead.
PCA, I mean, the best. There is good things and not so much good things about PCA this year. And I'm talking about location, New Orleans.
I was going to talk to you about that. Like, what are your thoughts on it moving to New Orleans?
I mean, I love to go there because I love jazz and I love whiskey and I love bourbons.
Yeah.
I'm just concerned what the heck are we going to be doing after the trade show when we finish and then we go out. And are we gonna go to the bar to listen to some jazz and have a beer or a bourbon, a drink, And then what? We walk outside to have the cigar, and then we can come in. I don't know exactly how is that going to work.
I have heard that it's not a very cigar friendly city. I haven't been down there in a number of years, and I wasn't smoking cigars at the time that I was down there, so that really wasn't. It didn't impact me at the time. But I've heard that generally there's not a lot of places that you can go and have a cigar.
That's the situation now. You know, the last time that I was there was for a trade show. I don't know. It was like what, 9, 10 years ago? I don't even remember when was the last time that I was there. But that was my thing. You know, after the trade show, bunch of friends, we just go to listen to some jazz, have a drink, have a cigar, take it easy. So let's see what happened. We're trying to have a plan B. You know, one retailer told me, René, I'm getting an Airbnb, a house, so that way we can go there and have drinks and cigars.
Oh my gosh.
And next door is a jazz bar. You can listen to the jazz because the terrace is connected. So
there you go. That's not a bad plan.
So this is the plan B of the situation. We'll see. We'll go with the flow. And no, but listen, the main thing is that we're getting adjusted now. This is the second year where we have the trade show not in the summer. Remember, before all the PCAs were in the summer. So last year was quite challenging for us to have new products ready by the time that we went to the show, because usually we finish the show in July and we had a full 12 months for the next one to develop products. We're, used to that cycle, but then last year was short. So finally we have a full year again. So it gave us a chance to really, right off the bat, when we finished 24, to start working on the new projects. And one of them, the main thing, the one that I'm smoking, that was started before, because we actually make these cigars, the 1888, the one that I'm smoking, Gran Reserva.
Yeah.
They were made at the factory. They were rolled on November 23. So we were supposed to release them for the holidays last year. But then I decided, you know what? The PCA is just a couple of months away. Let's hold it. We have the cigars over here in Miami, and we will present and release them by the time that we go to the PCA. This cigar, it has let me see if my memory is good. The wrapper is a Mexican San Andres.
Okay.
The binder is Nicaraguan. No, the binder is Ecuador Habano, and the filler is Nicaraguan.
Okay.
It's a full body cigar that the whole idea that I told you that we aged them for a year is to mellow down them a little bit, to round it up the blend, because it was what I call a high octane cigar when it was made. So now we tone it down and it's nice, full body, still a full body cigar, but easy on the smoker, easy, like you're not going to get an overdose of nicotine. So we have a
not going to slit your throat.
No.
There you go.
No.
Okay.
and that was the idea. We wanted to make a rich, tasty, robust cigar, and it was not my idea, but our blender's idea. I'm just a guy that sells cigars. Our blender, René, we can make this cigar, but we might need to age them for a long time. So I asked him, define for me long time, so that way we speak in the same language. He said, at least a year. He said, okay, I like it. Let's work on a concept for it. And that was, okay, by having that one, we decided to work on the new series, let's call it, because now we're working for the future in different productions to qualify a cigar as a Gran Reserva to be aged at least for 12 months before we put them in the market.
Have you, and this could be a fun experiment, just to sit down and compare. Have you fired up a freshly rolled one versus a 1 year aged one and smoked them at the same time to compare?
No, I haven't done that part, and I tell you that this. You might remember, I'm not a big fan of cigars that are going to kill me.
No, I get that. I'm just kind of curious. I'm just kind of curious as to exactly just how much that year kind of helps mellow it out.
It does. My experience is that there are some cigars that they really do not evolve much other than, make it smooth, nicer. At the end of the day, listen, I've talked to different master blenders, and there is different theories regarding, at the aging part of it. But in these ones, you have the cigars in the aging room at the factory, which is a cedar room. So you have, assuming into the blend, like think about the bourbons that are aged in barrels and things like that.
Yeah.
They're getting something out of the wood too, and releasing some of the oils that make what I call the high octane, cigar. I don't think that the one that I smoked at the beginning was a bad. It was a good cigar. It was just a little bit over the top when it comes to strength, and there is a market for that. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, there definitely is. Yeah.
And a good piece of the market loves those type of cigars. But we were trying, okay, listen, we need a refined one, less, and that was a recommendation from our blender. Tone it down. We need to age this, but you have to be patient because it has to be a long time. At the beginning, I was concerned because when he said long time, I thought that he was going to be talking years.
Yeah,
no, we need at least 12 months. It's okay. Now we're safe because, one thing is to age 10,000 cigars for a year, and another one is, okay, let's wait for 5 years and let's see what happens. Like, maybe I'm not that patient,
Yeah.
for that.
It's a lot of money being invested in waiting for 5 years,
So that is the limited edition that we're going to release. We made 10,000 cigars. These are boxes of 10 cigars. As I told you, it's a 6x54 box pressed cigar. So boxes of 10, and the MSRP for this cigar is $22.
That's not bad.
No, listen, we still have a lot of respect for people's money, and we don't want to go into the $100 game.
Thank God. This is me saying this, not you saying this, but like I love cigars, but I just cannot fathom that there's a cigar that's going to be worth me taking $100 bill and essentially lighting it on fire, because that's what we do when we buy cigars is, we're just lighting our money up. And it could be great. I'm not saying it's not a good cigar, whatever one we're talking about. Unfortunately, there's so many of them now, but I just cannot fathom that one is worth $100 or more.
I'm here, listen, I think I was talking the last PCA with the old man Plasencia, Nestor Plasencia. And we were talking about that, and he was telling me, René, just keep making great cigars. Never lose respect for the money of the people that are buying them. That was his words.
No, it's true. Well, and you know what? That's the thing is there's always going to be buyer's remorse,
For sure.
And if you know that you're doing that to the customer, all you're doing is just hurting yourself in the long run, because now you've angered a customer that spent $100 on the cigar, and it's like, oh, well, that was, okay, but it wasn't that. I mean, the most expensive cigar I've ever bought was $65, and I bought that in Las Vegas. So of course there's Las Vegas prices involved in that and everything. And it was a Byron 1850, and fantastic cigar, but $65 is a little rich, but I did it, I don't mind it. But I don't know if I would go that.
Guys, no, it cannot be your everyday cigar.
Not at all.
Listen,
no.
I'm extremely pragmatic and realistic when it comes to what we do at Villiger.
Yeah.
Listen, as I told you, because people that has been maybe listening to the other times that have been here in your show, for us, it's a work in progress. It's gaining the respect from the consumers. It's making aware that we make them aware that we make great cigars. So this is a step by step, that they can appreciate. Okay, René's giving me a $22 cigar. Let me compare that to his $10 to $12 cigars to see if it's a real difference. And we want the people to see the real difference that is in this, because we're doing this. But I don't think that we have arrived at the stage, like, I'm going to charge you whatever I feel like charging you guys because now I'm on top of the world. Like, no. We are not quite there. We're far away from there yet. So, it is still a work in progress.
Well,
so I keep always that in mind. Where is Villiger? What the people think about Villiger? We're trying to earn the respect of the consumer.
And that's a good thing, because again, if you respect the consumer and the consumer's dollar, the consumer is going to have respect for you. So
that's a whole bit. And now going to the other side, we're going to release, or revamp will be the word, La Capitana. This is an old brand that we have had, that we retired a while ago. This is how can I put this one? I think it would be my best way, personal definition of that cigar, the most elegant morning cigar that I've ever smoked in my life.
Okay.
It's a mild plus because it has personality, has a lot of flavor, but it's on the mild side. And it has an Ecuadorian, Connecticut, and the rest is just Nicaraguan. Not the rest, because in the filler is Nicaraguan and Dominican. To give a little something there for the flavor. We have 4 sizes on that one. This is going to be regular production. It's a Churchill 7x50, a Robusto, a Toro 6x50, a Robusto 5x50, and a Lonsdale that is a 6x43. And we're talking an average price of $10 to $11 per cigar.
That's the sweet spot.
Solid, good cigar, good smoke. For a guy like me that smoke 2-3 cigars a day, the best, most elegant cigar that I smoke in the morning. But for people that don't smoke, or maybe smoke 1 cigar a day, this is a morning cigar, an afternoon cigar, an evening cigar. It's just my thing. I start with a mild one in the morning, and then I keep moving up. Like you see, now I'm into the Gran Reserva, because the time that we're recording this is going to be my last cigar of the day. I think, maybe not, but
never know. It could be a really long day.
Yes. So yes, La Capitana will be a regular production. It will also be presented at the show, and it will be available right there after the show. And the other was, the Villiger Gran Reserva 1888. So those are the 2 main things that we have for the show. But I think since the last time that we spoke, I never got the chance to talk to you about the Villiger Cuellar Caribe that we released on January.
Yes.
That is a great cigar. It's a medium body cigar. We make that one not in our factories, but with Hochi Blanco in Tabacalera Palma in Dominican Republic. By the way, Tabacalera Palma, Hochi Blanco, besides being a great friend, he also makes our Cuellar Cream and our Cuellar Black Forest. And just to give you an idea what we're trying to do over here, the Cuellar Cream is the mild cigar, the Black Forest is the fuller body, and the Caribe is the one in the middle, medium body cigar. Again, also around $10 price point. Is mainly Dominican tobacco in the filler and the binder with a Ecuador Habano wrapper. Highly recommend that cigar too, because it's not aggressive, has a lot of flavor. Beautiful smoke. I'm in love with that one too.
I've smoked that a few times, and I really enjoy it because it hits that, like you're saying, that nice middle point. It's not too mild, not too strong. It's right in the center. It's got that Habano thing going. I do dig the Caribe. So
those are and it's already what, April, and we already have 3 new cigars for this year. The one in January and these 2 that we're putting at the show. So we're excited about the show. I just got the list today of the retailers coming to the PCA. The PCA sent us the list of this, and it seems like it's going to be well attended. So we're super excited about it.
That's good.
And there is some actually international distributors that will come and attend the show too. So that's always a positive thing, that the people in international markets are now coming to the PCA and to see. At the end of the day, the PCA is the only tobacco trade show 100% focused on premium cigars.
Yeah.
Because the one in Dortmund is great, it's spectacular, but it's everything tobacco. It's not just premium cigars. So the people are paying more and more attention, and especially in the international markets, because the lack of access to Cuban cigars, the limited inventories of that one, and the super high price points that they have.
Yeah.
That the Cubans went from being an everyday cigar to a special occasion cigar with a price point. Going back to the point of the prices, I think that's what happened. When you put cigars that are, on the high end of the prices, they become, if they're very good, they become a special occasion cigar. It's no longer an everyday cigar. One thing is to smoke a $10, $15 cigar every day, and a different one is to smoke a $100 cigar a day. That's a different exercise. If you're just an average guy smoking cigars.
If you're Michael Jordan, you're smoking the Cubans every day, and it's no big deal. But
you don't care how much is it. You just get that one. That's it.
we don't have Michael Jordan money, so it's one of those things. I gotta enjoy the $10, $15 cigars and be happy. And you know what? Here's the thing, and I've said this for a long time. You can tell a lot of difference between a $5 and $10 cigar, but there's not a lot of difference between a $10 and $20 cigar. And then when you go 20 on up, boy, the difference becomes incremental. I mean, it's so small. So,
I agree. One thing that before I forget about the PCA.
Yeah.
The opening reception, it's sponsored by us. Actually, it's 4 companies. It's Steve Saka, it's Eric Espinosa, the team at the Diesel, and us. So just to give an idea, the convention center is where the trade show will be. Right next to the convention center, it's a park open to the retailers. So that Friday before the trade show is open, we're going to have an opening cocktail reception. So we'll be there smoking cigar, having drinks. I think that if I didn't misunderstand Eric Espinosa, Mr. Guy Fieri will be there, cooking too, and all the 9 yards.
Oh, nice.
Have the whole pony show thing going on, for
that. Take us to Flavor Town. There we go.
It was that, Eric says like, René, Guy Fieri, it's from the area. So we need to give him the spotlight. Like, take it all by you, my friend. It's no problem at all.
Well, the other thing that I want to do, I want to thank you because so Villiger has kindly sponsored the Cigar Pulpit coverage from PCA. So not only will we have the podcast that I'm going to be assembling, I have a couple of listeners that have volunteered to come down and help out. So I've got my team.
You're a very lucky man. I'm telling you, you're a very lucky man. You have volunteers on that. I don't have volunteers on my thing. I have to pay everybody to come.
Dude, these guys are like, we want to go to PCA. And I'm like, okay. Well, you got to help me out. They're like, it's fine. It's an opportunity to go to PCA. So no, it works out well. But no, I've got some guys that are, Paul and Sean are coming down to help. And we're going to do this, but not only, but for you listeners, not only can you expect a podcast from PCA, but we're going to go around and we're going to do interviews where we talk about what's new, what are we seeing at PCA, what's new from all these people, but it's all brought to you by Villiger. So it's one of those things. You snaked in there, man. You came in and you're like, you know what, you can talk about what's new at Drew Estate or Perdomo or whatever, but by God, it's going to be brought to you by Villiger, so
no, listen, I think
that's the way to do it.
We have developed a very good relationship and friendship. So I think it was perfect for you because, listen, you need to be at the PCA. And for us, it's excellent to get the exposure, through you. And that was the reason, like, take full advantage. Let's do this together. And again, it's not about Villiger. It's about the trade show. It's just that I want to make sure that every time that you say something, that this is brought to you by Villiger.
Brought to you by Villiger.
Which, by the way, we will have our master blender over there. So I'm going to give you the chance to talk to him. So the way
perfect.
you can talk to somebody that really knows about cigars. So instead of just me.
No, that'll be fun. I'll look forward to that. So no, I'm looking forward to the show because I know it's, new location. So obviously nobody quite knows exactly what to expect, I suppose. But I've never, this is my first PCA. I never went when it was out in Vegas. I've gone to TPE 6 years in a row. And, you can only see so many pot and magic mushroom booths and everything else. But this one, I'm looking forward to seeing an all cigar trade show and seeing what happens here.
It's impressive. It's going to be a lot of work because there's a lot of companies, a lot of things that maybe you have never brands. Even myself, I've been doing this for 27 years. I still go to shows and I find booth like, where is this brand I never heard of? And usually it's there when you get by the traction and by the people and by the rumors to know what could be the next big thing from the boutique side of that. I think this is the best, way to measure, what's up and coming into the business. So it will be a great experience. You will be annoyed by the noise and the smoke and the this and the that, and whatever. And everybody will tell you that this is the best show ever created by humankind and all that.
I've heard that at TPE, and it's like, this is the best year here, and I'm like, really? There's, but yeah, I get it. So,
but it's great, and you see that multiple companies invest a lot of money in those booth and activities and parties and whatever that might be. So it's quite interesting. You will have a blast, but trust me, you will need a vacation after that. Because if you're going to be non-stop, and I will highly recommend that you go early, because remember, keep in mind, we, the exhibitors, were there to sell cigars.
For sure.
So we need the most time with the retailers. So the hour that they give to the media, take full advantage of it, because that way, this is the only time that you're going to find all of us drinking coffee, checking around, bullshitting around, and take full advantage of it. Don't, do it. And even if you want to stay after hours, and this is a tip, after hours, always come back to our booth, because that's when we open our little bar, and we can, waiting for everybody to leave the convention center. So we just stay and have a drink and maybe another cigar. We like half an hour, and then when the people is gone, then we leave.
There you go. Okay. That's good. Good pro tip there. So that's good. But yeah, no, I like the media hour. And I've used it at TPE before. What I have found, though, and I'm hoping that maybe I have less of an issue with this one, but what I have found at TPE is everybody goes out, partying and drinking in Las Vegas the night before. So when I get there for the media hour, all the booths are empty. And there's nobody there yet,
That's one advantage of not being in Las Vegas. You have a little bit less than that. Yeah. And take advantage and try to do as much as you can the first and the second day, because by the third day, most of the principals are out of the trade show already.
Good to know. So what I have found that's different between the two shows so far has been the amount of people reaching out and scheduling interview times with me. I never had anybody do that with TPE. It was just kind of like, just come by, whatever. But with PCA, I mean, I've got a full calendar going for, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
And I'm glad that I'm glad that you're working on that one and follow up on that one, because when we do that, we really allocate that time for you. So you're not interrupting whoever is the vendor.
Well, and that's always been my thing out in Vegas. It's always been, you're there to sell cigars to retailers. I'm there to do my thing, but you're, and as much as you want to talk to me to promote stuff, the job that you have is to sell. And I don't want to get in the way of that. And so I'm always try to make as
Nick,
much concession as I can. So
Nick, you won't believe how many of the media people do not understand that part.
Well, I get it.
Sometimes that you think it's common sense, like, we need to pay for this booth and for this thing and for that. We need to sell some product here.
Oh God, I don't know.
But a great experience. The guys, your volunteers, I'm gonna have a blast, and you will have them forever coming with you, because it's a great show.
Paul is a great dude. He's from Texas, and he's been on the show twice. Sean, you have met. Sean and his wife were at PulpitFest last year. They were the ones who flew down from Michigan. Okay, and gotcha. I was gonna say, so you met Sean last year, and so he jumped at this opportunity, and so between the two of them, we'll cover everything. We'll be good. So
nice. No, and I'm glad that you're feeling much better, because you need full energy for those 3 days. It's a marathon. Like the 3 days is non-stop, especially for you. It's one for the next after the next. We might all sound about the same by the end of the day. By the end of the 3 days, like, this guy just tell the same thing, all of them.
Well, see, I'm mixing it up here a little bit. Like I said, I'm gonna do the videos where everybody kind of does their little commercial, and I get that that's something that everybody wants to do. But obviously, you get a whole show, because you're René. But but on top of that, I'm mixing it up a little bit I mean, I'm giving you fair warning here. I'm coming up with some off the wall questions. These are not necessarily cigar related. Maybe they are, maybe they're not, but these are going to be off the wall, kind of perhaps even bizarre questions.
Listen, I think that's
I want to have fun with it. Yeah.
I think it's a great idea because, again, if not, we all start sounding the same.
Exactly.
This is the cigar, and this is the wrapper, and this is the filler, and this is the binder, and this is a medium body, and this is a full body, whatever that might be. And he's like, come on, shut up.
Well, no, and it's one of those things. People sometimes are, they listen to my show and they're like, dude, you barely talked about cigars. And it's like, because I try to bring that lounge environment to the show, like when you're sitting around in a cigar lounge, we're not sitting around for an hour talking about, oh, this leaf is wrapped with this and it brings a body to the, we don't do that. We talk, is that a good cigar? Yeah, it's a good cigar. I like it. Okay, cool. What are you smoking? I'm smoking this. That's great. Hey, did you see the game the other night? Did you see this? What, we talk about other things. And so, in this case, we'll talk about cigars, but we'll also talk about other stuff.
I remember last year, the guy from the media that impressed me the most was this guy from Italy. Because he has his group, his club, whatever it is going on I think he's in Bologna or something like that. But remember, he came, it's 6 hours different. So he came in the media hour to do a small live, like, I'm here with René, I'm going to have coffee now. And he had the whole freaking thing live because it was already like 3 p.m., whatever it was, because it was 9 a.m. The time worked to his advantage.
Yeah.
And he came up with the idea to do like short lives, like in the first hour. But it was like that. We were just talking crap, like, where are we smoking? Let's have coffee. By the way, we do have espresso in our booth all day long. So, anytime you need coffee, you and the guys come over because we know that. And it's not like you have to be a customer to go. No, whoever comes who wants coffee, we'll just give them coffee because we know that we all need some coffee at that trade show. So you will see, sometimes it becomes a little bit like a meeting point of the industry or the media to come to the booth just because they know that we have coffee and they come just to chat and have coffee. Any excuse to get together and bullshit a little bit. So it's okay. It will be fun. It will be great. It will be a lot of work. That for sure. My only pro advice, try to go to bed as early as you can.
Boy, if being down and out for the last 2 weeks hasn't done anything, it has definitely readjusted my sleep schedule. I am getting to bed much earlier. I'm getting up so much earlier than I used to. I used to be a night owl and I'd get up in the later morning. But now, I mean, my God, I'm getting up. I set an alarm and I'm waking up an hour plus before my alarm even goes off. And I'm like, well, okay, I guess I'm awake now. So yeah, so I got that covered. But now speaking of get together and BSing, I want to go ahead and formally announce that you will be at PulpitFest 2025.
Oh, yes. And not only that, I will be there, but we're going to give again away a trip to Puro Sabor.
Oh, sweet.
Yes. I think Hank, that was great.
Hank, you can't win twice, buddy. I'm sorry. You won once. I'm sorry. You won once.
We'll do something special. When we plan a trip, we'll invite him to come and tag us, to come to Nicaragua or to the Dominican Republic. We'll do that special VIP treatment to Hank for being a first-time winner.
He had such a blast on that trip. I had him on the show. We talked, oh my God, it was 2 hours. He talked about that trip and everything. And he had nothing but he was talking about how he could eat off the floors at your place because the factory was so clean. And this, I mean, he was just absolutely just enamored with the whole situation, just treated like a king. So no, thank you so much for that. But then thank you so much for this too. This is fantastic news. And obviously,
last year we had a blast. I think it was a great success for you and for us. Again, our goal is to build a relationship with your listeners, to get familiar with the brand, and that was a great opportunity to get together with your people. So listen, the more the merrier. If more people are coming this year, we'll be there. And Hector, our regional manager, will be there too. And we will have better deals. So we're working in all that to have good deals for the people to get more cigars. And you were telling me that you were planning a dinner in advance, or some other additional things coming.
We're working all kinds of different stuff because this year, as I touched on this in the last episode, there's going to be 2 tiers of tickets. There's going to be the regular the regular standard tickets, but then there is going to be a VIP ticket option that's going to be limited to, I believe we've capped it at 15, and that's where the plan right now, we're still working on the formal plans to figure out where exactly it is and all that and everything, but you know, the wheels are in motion. But that Thursday night, it'll be a VIP exclusive dinner with René, where you know the 15 VIPs can sit down, they can chat with you, they can get the inside, you know, manufacturer scoop on this and that and whatever, ask their questions, and you know, hopefully if things go the way I want them to go and the way we're working on them to go, we can have a wonderful dinner and have cigars while we're eating and everything, you know, have a nice cigar dinner with René.
That will be the key, you know, to have a nice venue where we can smoke and nobody's looking at us like we are the weirdest things ever in the world. So, and especially that, I'll make sure, because we're going to have a couple of new releases for the fall. I'll make sure that when we go to that dinner, we bring those cigars, you know, as a pre-release thing for the VIP dinner, because we're working on a couple of things for the second half of the year that we're planning to put up in the market like by September. So it will be great to share them, you know, with the guys coming to the VIP dinner. And again, the Puro Sabor ticket will be there. So we'll find a way to make sure that another person comes to the factory next year. And Hank, no problem. We'll find a way to get you to.
Oh, well, fun. No, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great time. And you've been such a great partner with us and everything. So I cannot thank you enough. But, you know, I know my folks, they enjoy it. They're looking forward to it. And we just got to get a few things in line, and then I'll be able to announce the tickets are available. So, yeah, but anyway.
Listen, and one thing, you know, try to make sure. I would like to meet your dad. He should come and have a cigar with us.
He is coming. In fact, he has his flight and hotel booked, so he will be there. He will be there, and you know, tell
him that we will give him the VIP treatment.
Oh, you know, he's probably going to tell me like, I'm helping putting this thing together, I'm going to get the VIP treatment, so I'm sure it's going to happen anyway. But yeah, so no, it's going to be a good time. We're going to have a fun time with it. And
listen, it was great. I think it's only going to get better, and your guys should take full advantage. It's a great weekend. It's a good time, good cigars. And it's in a relaxed environment. It's nothing formal, nothing like none of that.
And here's the other thing. We set sales records at the Ash and Ale last year. We have to beat those sales records. We can't we can't let that stand. We every year has to be better. So like, you know, yeah,
and it has to be much better. And I think I'm not that concerned, because if you remember, by the second day, we ran out of some of the products. So now we even know how to play the game better, you know, to sell more.
No, it's everybody was running out of product there, and it was nice. I mean, it's nice to see that, and I like the fact that my listeners, the people that showed up, they understood the assignment. They understood, like, you know, hey, as the consumer, I'm here, you know, to take part and to take advantage of the deals and to buy the cigars and support the retailer, who then in turn supports the manufacturer. And it's a whole circle of life thing.
What was the deal that we had to get to Puro Sabor last year? It was like whoever was buying the most, or, you know, if you buy certain amount, you were getting a ticket for the raffle for Puro Sabor.
Yeah, I feel like it was like if you bought a box of cigars or something, or maybe it was $1 amount. I don't know. We'd have to go back and look. But
I think it was like $1 amount for every certain amount of money. You were getting a ticket for the raffle. And then at the end, then we raffled the trip to the Puro Sabor Festival. No, listen, excellent, and that will be fun. So listen, PCA around the corner, Villiger 1888 Gran Reserva, La Capitana, the new releases that we have. And when you get a chance, go to the local shop and try the Villiger Cuella Caribe, the one that we released in January. So 3 great cigars. You know, again, we're trying to showcase our blending capabilities, our evolution as a manufacturer. Remember, even that we have 135 years in business, we only been 20 years in the handmade business, and just about 10 in the US. So that's the reason we want, you know, for you guys to walk along us, you know, in that evolution. And that's part of the exercise that we're doing, you know, through you.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Well, let's do this now, real quick, while I have you. It's time for the Villiger Cigars Entertainment Report, brought to you by
Villiger.
Villiger Cigars, one of the leading cigar and cigarello manufacturers in the world, founded in 1888 and still family owned and operated. Head over to VilligerCigars.com and check the store locator to find a shop near you that carries them. We guarantee that Villiger Cigars will be a wonderful addition to your humidor and cigar rotation. So you always have a very refined answer to this. You books and podcasts and things of that nature. What have you been entertained by lately?
Let me start with the movie. I'm not a big movie guy.
Okay.
But I usually, when the Oscars came out, I try to see, okay, let me cherry pick one of the ones that was running for the best picture. And I watched the Conclave.
Okay.
I think is with Ralph Fiennes and Stanley Tucci, and this is about the Pope died and they have to elect a new Pope, and the whole process, the election of a new Pope.
Yeah.
And the whole all the candidates involved in the whole great movie. Is an intense movie. It's not a religious movie whatsoever. The plot is well executed. I think they won the best screenplay, or whatever is that award, best adapted screenplay, because this was a book that they put it into the movie. I never read the book, but actually my daughters were the one that recommended me to watch the movie, just because of my historical fan, whatever, I'm always into history. So interesting, highly recommended. It's not an action movie. It's more like an intense drama movie of the election of the Pope, and all the bullshit that goes around it. Sorry if I'm offending anybody.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's a highly political situation. It's
for sure, and the ending. It's great. Let me put it this way, but not spoiling the movie. There is a secret at the end of the movie, that the secret is important, but it's not important for the movie, because the revealing the movie is not developing based on that secret. So just to give you that heads up, there is a big secret at the end, which is extremely important, but it's not part of the development of the movie. So it was weird, like, wow, I didn't see that coming any way. So great movie. Conclave. Ralph Fiennes, I think, was the guy that was the main guy, and Stanley Tucci was also the guy over there. Books. The Escape Artist. This is, I think, was the first Jew. This is a real history.
Okay.
The first Jew that escaped from Auschwitz. There is very few people that escape, and these, just a handful of Jewish that escaped from Auschwitz.
Mm-hmm.
I think the name of the guy was Walter Rosenberg, and then he changed the name to, what was it? Rudolf Verba. An amazing book, because his main goal was to escape from Auschwitz, to tell the world about what was happening there, because in his mind, the people were taken to the concentration camps mainly because they didn't know what was happening over there. And just to spoil a little bit, then he gets out, he starts telling everybody that he could, the Jewish community, and here and there, and the governments, and Roosevelt and Churchill, and everybody that could listen to him. But the situation in the camps were so freaking bad that the people really believed him, but didn't believe him that it was really that bad. And he was a frustrated guy, because he couldn't believe that the world didn't react fast enough to stop the killing that was happening in the concentration camps. Extremely intense, extremely, certain chapters a little bit dark because of the violence that is happening in that one. But I think the author is Jonathan, Friedland or something like that? Friedman.
Okay.
No, Friedland, which is a historian, but he put it like a nice, I think that book is written to be like a movie. It's great story. And I was I was for whatever reason reading the other day that usually when we get over 40 or 50s, for whatever stupid reason, we older men become fan of history of the Second World War. So I'm assuming I'm going through that stage
You
of
know,
my
it
life.
does happen to people. You're right. It's like all of a sudden, I find here in the States, it's always, either World War II or the Civil War. You find old guys, and I'm not calling you old by any means, but you find old guys, and before long they're either into the Civil War, like really heavy into the Civil War, or World War II. I don't understand it, but yeah.
It's a trend that we listen. I'm 56, so it says either 40 or 50 is that age when you become interested in Second World War. So I'm assuming I'm going to that one. Great book, The Escape Artist, Jonathan Friedland. I said that, I think it's the author. And the podcast that I'm hooked is called The Rest is History.
Okay.
And they take in chapters and they talk like the falling of the Aztecs, and they do like a series of telling how Hernán Cortés came and did the whole 9-yard thing to take over Mexico. Or there is an episode about, what was it, the other one that I listened the other day? It was like Christmas, the history background of Christmas, to make sure if it's a pagan celebration or a Christian celebration. So they go deep into that one. It's two historians that explain and go deep into the explanations of things, but very, very fun, very entertaining. It's not boring whatsoever. I'm a soccer fan. They just did a special about the history of football, of soccer, how it started, how it evolved, and the whole corruption of FIFA and the whole 9-yard thing. So it's always good. They did a very good one. They post like 4 or 5 episodes about Christopher Columbus and the discovery of the Americas, but the real details about, because you may be in school here, the little light version of this Italian dude that came and whatever, and everything was good.
1492, he sailed the ocean blue.
October 12th. No, but you go deep, like October 27, the guy came to Cuba and he had 2 guys and he sent it to Cuba inside, and he discovered on October 27 cigars for the first time for the Europeans. They go that deep into the situation. So the movie, The Conclave, the podcast is The Rest is History, and the book that I read, that it really impressed me a lot was The Escape Artist by Jonathan Friedland. So, 3 good recommendations that I've been quite entertained that this first quarter, reading a lot and checking a lot of things here and there.
Okay. All right. Very good. I've been catching up. I'm almost done with the second season of the show Severance, which I don't know if you've watched that at all, but it's a very fascinating show. It's one of those shows where like there's a lot going on and it's kind of a mystery and you don't know what's happening most of the time. But the concept is that there's a company and you agree when you get hired to work on what's called the severed floor, that they will put a little chip in your brain, and when you go to work, you are René. Then you go into this elevator and something happens and it triggers the chip, and all of a sudden you don't remember anything about your outside life. You only know your work life. And when you're at work, you are that person. They call you the innie. It's your innie person. And when you're at work, you're the innie, and all you know is what's happening at work. And then when you leave, you go up the elevator and something happens and suddenly, boom, you're your outie. And so you don't. So when you're out in the world, you have no idea what you did it's like you were sleeping for 8 hours. And then when you go back to work, you have no idea what happened outside of work. So you could be married with kids and you have absolutely no idea. You're just at work,
And which platform are you watching this? What is this?
Apple TV. It's on Apple TV. And it's fascinating watching this. And so there's this whole conspiracy about what's the company actually doing, and this and that and whatever. And so but it's neat because you're seeing the same character trying to piece together this mystery almost twice, because they're having to piece it together outside of work, but then also having to figure out what's going on at work while they're at work. And so it's really neat. It's interesting.
Super cool. On the light side, and this is my plane movies type of thing.
Yeah.
I'm in the plane. I've been in one flight. I took The Equalizer with Denzel
Okay.
Washington. Number
Good
one.
movie.
I didn't
Yeah.
know that it was number two, and then I watched number three too. I was super entertained, but a little bit violent.
Yeah.
Especially, you know, I'm assuming from the first to the second to the third, he becomes more violent.
I've only seen the first one. I've never seen the second and third one, but let me tell you, there were some scenes in that first one that I was like, "Ooh, that had to hurt," you know. So, yeah,
There is a lot of violence in the other ones. They get heavier as you move on. But that was my sessions on playing the movies that I usually try to watch movies that if I get to sleep, I wake up and I'm okay, they're still killing people and chasing people. Like, doesn't matter too much.
I had a lot of that going on while I was you know, feeling ill. I was trying to find shows and things like that I could watch where if I fell asleep, it didn't matter whatever. I could just wake up. Top Gear, old BBC Top Gear. I was watching a whole lot of that just because it's three guys being goofy with supercars, you know. So it's like if you fall asleep, you wake up, they're still driving supercars. It's like it's no big deal, you know. It's I didn't miss anything, but yeah. Now you mentioned that you're a fan of football, and I recently just watched all three seasons of Ted Lasso, and I love that show.
Not, you know, is it good? Because I've seen the
Renee, if you have not watched Ted Lasso, I mean, Apple, don't listen to this. I will give you my Apple login so you can log in and watch it. This show is, without a doubt, it's one of my favorite shows ever after watching this thing. It's heartwarming, it's sweet, it's got drama. I mean, there's some dramatic elements to it, but it's about this guy who's an American football coach who gets hired to go and teach or to coach a soccer team over in England. He has no clue on earth about the game at all, and so he's got to figure it out. But the life lessons that are in this show, the leadership lessons that are in this show, it's like by the end of this, you're just like, I mean, I freely admit, I'm like bawling, crying at some of these episodes just because of stuff going on. I'm like, this is so, and it's funny as hell. So, but my point is, I don't know anything about like European football and more specifically the structure, the different leagues, and how like you get if you're at the bottom, then you get deregulated down to another league, and then you got to win that in order to get moved back up, and this and that and whatever. So when we're at PCA, let's have dinner and you can explain football to me, because like I have, because like I've even tried Googling like explain, you know, and like, oh my God, that's a rabbit hole trying to figure out like where to even look on Google as to how to explain this. So yeah, so no, explain that to me. We can get together in New Orleans and you can explain that to me, because I have no freaking clue on earth.
It is. There is a lot going on with football and a lot of bad things and good things and horrible things in between. It's like a mafia type of thing at the end of the day.
Kind of like the Olympics.
Yeah, sort of. Even dirtier.
Oh God. Okay.
No. Just picture this. The next World Cup for soccer, it's gonna be run by Mexico, US, and Canada. I don't know how they're gonna do it now with all the
Lord, I was gonna say with everything going on, good God. I don't
so
know
it's those three,
work.
but the one before was Qatar. That is like the size of Connecticut. Like, so you can do it in Qatar, but now for here in the US, you have to do Mexico, Canada. Like, come on, how much money Qatar paid to get that?
Because yeah.
Now suddenly you can do it in a little country, and now you need like three big ass countries to do it.
You know what's funny is now that you bring that up, I have heard that I guess they're going to be doing some World Cup games out in Kansas City, which is 4 hours east or west of me. But I guess some of the teams are going to be located here in St. Louis and practicing at some of the facilities here in the St. Louis area. You know, so yeah, it's
they're building a new stadium. We know now they're building a new soccer stadium in Miami just because now we have Messi over here, but because of the World Cup, it's one of those things, the construction, every time that you pass through that one, they're going fast because it has to be ready for next year.
Yeah.
So it's one of those constructions that they don't take forever, that you can see like, whoa, this is flying, man. There's a lot of money pumping being pumped over here to get this stadium, happening very fast because
Yeah.
I think FIFA announced that now they're going to have a new headquarters in Miami too. So
Interesting.
it is quite interesting in that one. And which, by the way, when I was listening to this story and the podcast of the rest is history about the World Cup, they did a fun party. It's not just the history of the World Cup, but then they took and did an episode on each country to give a little bit of a brief history of what's happening in Qatar or in Ecuador or in Costa Rica and whatever, not from the football point of view, the historical point of view, to get that one. But, again, it's quite fun, if you are a historical fan, a history fan like me. It's, remember, when I was a teenager, I told my mom I want to be a historian. And he told me, great, when you finish your engineering degree, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm doing now.
After you have a way to make money, then you can go play historian. That's good. That's good. Oh, that's funny. That's good.
When you finish your engineering degree, you can do work on that one.
Whatever you want to do. Oh, that's good. That's good. Oh, well, René, I want to thank you for taking time out today, man. It's always great to catch up, and I am so looking forward to seeing you in New Orleans next week. So
you're gonna meet the rest of the team over there, because you have met Hector, but bunch of us will be there. We will have the master blender from Dominican Republic, Matias Maragotto. We will have the master blender from Villiger de Nicaragua, Jazz Reyes. So you're gonna have a chance to talk to some, they're interesting guys, good people, good heart cigar people that will bring another, layer of what we do at Villiger. So it will be great for you to spend some time, not only for the show, but just to, spend some time with them and understand a little bit what is it that we're trying to accomplish together as a group.
I love it. I am looking forward to it. And anyway, so so tell me, you're getting down to the band. I'm getting down to the band here. What tell me about that Grand Reserva there.
Listen, I'm a big fan of this one, just because I like the idea that we took the time to age these cigars. I can go like any magazine and tell you about the notes of the leather and the whatever and cookies and all that good stuff. It's a solid, robust. It tastes like well-aged tobacco, good well-aged tobacco.
Perfect. I love it.
I leave for the other experts to tell you about the layers of cookies or oatmeal and cinnamon and all that kind of crap, which I respect. I was talking to one of them, and I'm not going to say any names. I was like, I taste different things in the cigars. I just don't know how to put it in the beautiful words that you guys put it. In my book of life, there is 2 segments of cigars. When it's in the business part, there is only 2 cigars, the one that sells and the one that do not sell. And then in my personal life, there are just cigars that I like and the one that I do not like. That's about it.
No, I get, and sometimes they're not the same,
They're not, and sometimes they don't overlap. Not at all. And good, robust, rich, tasty, flavorful cigar, without getting an overdose of nicotine.
There you go. Well, René, we will see you in New Orleans in a week.
Yes, sir. We'll be there, and we'll have some fun over there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, my friend. See you soon.
So we really want to thank René Castaneda for taking time out of his day to talk with us about everything going on with PCA. Now, obviously, we recorded that interview a little earlier in the week. Since then, some pretty big news about tariffs have come out, and it has kind of impacted things, and I didn't get a chance to talk to him about that. However, I'm going to be covering a little bit more of that subject in Tuesday's episode, so stay tuned, because I would suspect we're all going to see the price of cigars go up, and it's going to be one of those universal across the board kind of situations here. It's not good. It's not good. I will say this: if you're a retailer and you're listening to this and you haven't put in a pre-order for your PCA orders, if you haven't called, whatever companies you're going to do business with and maybe put in your order in advance of the show, you may want to, because, I know some of these companies already have product landed in the United States, but if it's a manufacturer who hasn't brought in their PCA, shipment yet, it's gonna get pretty tight, and you're gonna pay more. So, just one of those things. It's a piece of advice, but anyway, now let's go ahead and do this. It's time to fly high with Blackbird Cigars. Blackbird Cigars offers you remarkable quality using the most delicate and finest tobacco to always ensure that you're receiving unsurpassed cigars. Blackbird Cigars strives to give you undoubted repeating flavor for every cigar you smoke and impressive quality so that you can always expect greatness. Check out their website for a full list of stores carrying Blackbird Cigars and give them a test flight. Blackbird Cigars, can't clip our wings. All right, and so today we're going to learn about 7-year-old Everett Boatwright. And Everett is a bright, imaginative kid, and like many children on the autism spectrum, he struggles with texture, smell, and taste of many foods. I can attest to this. My son, he is very picky, but he loves Chipotle. So we go to Chipotle all the time. But Everett, he developed an affinity for Star Wars Kraft dinner. Now, Everett's from Canada, so their Kraft dinner is a little different than our Kraft dinner. And so, anyway, he developed this affinity for Star Wars Kraft dinner. And his parents were thrilled because they hadn't seen him interested in new food in a very long time. But there was only one problem. They bought all the boxes they could in their hometown of Nanaimo, British Columbia, and the family needed more. And, his mom put out a plea on Facebook asking for help tracking down the limited edition pasta, and the request went viral. Several shared the post on social media, including, ironically, Star Trek, William Shatner. So, we're Shatner's promoting Star Wars pasta, but the Star Wars Kraft dinner flooded in from across North America. They started sending boxes to the Boatwrights. And Kraft Heinz Canada even donated $10,000 to autism charities, delivered 144 boxes to the Boatwrights, and asked Everett to select the next Kraft dinner shape. And on his birthday, March 7th, he chose the Minions. So, the final tally, it ended up being about 800 boxes worth of Star Wars Kraft pasta, and the Boatwrights are thrilled, and they're just so happy with the way that all went down. So be like everybody who helped Everett and Blackbird Cigars, and don't let anybody clip your wings. Now, since it's Friday, it's time for a Pinky Fun Fact.
Hey, it's your girl Pinky. Ready for a fun fact? A man named Charles Osborne was the victim of stress-induced hiccups. He had this medical issue for 68 years.
Oh,
this has
God.
been Pinky, and I'll be back next time with more fun facts.
Oh, God, I hate getting the hiccups. And to have them for 68 years, fuck that. Just put a bullet in my head or something. That sounds absolutely abysmal and miserable. No, that's not going to happen. Anyway, we are available on the socials at Instagram, at the Cigar Pulpit. We're on Facebook, where we have the Pulpit Parishioners group. We're on Twitter/X, and you can watch us on Rumble, YouTube, and if you use Spotify, we're on Spotify video as well. Get your calls in for the Ask the Pulpit episodes by calling the hotline at area code 863-874-0000, and then we can have fun with those episodes. And otherwise, that would be a show. Guys, once again, I want to thank René for coming on and talking to us. And I will be back with you here next week. So, everybody, this has been another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm Nick. Stay safe and stay smoky. Later, guys.